can argue with Italian sayings like, life is a combination of pasta and magic, or love is measured in cooked dishes. And what better way to boost your knowledge of the beautiful Italian language and expand your vocabulary than by unraveling centuries-old wisdom packed into bite-sized Italian sayings about life, love, food, family, and much more. In today's lesson, you're going to learn the most beautiful, but also the most commonly used Italian sayings heard in everyday conversation in Italy. By the way, to help you practice, make sure you download your free PDF cheat sheet for this lesson, including everything that you're going to learn here today. Just click on the link in the description below this video. Pronti? Iniziamo! Let's start by taking a look at some Italian sayings about life. The first Italian saying is
Il mondo è bello perché è vario.
Literally, the world is beautiful because it is varied. Similar to the English, it takes all sorts. This is often used playfully when seeing someone doing something you might not fully understand. It's like a reminder to stay open-minded and acknowledge that everyone has their own perspective and way of looking at the world. The next Italian saying is
Finché c'è vita, c'è speranza.
While there is life, there is hope. Now this Italian saying is all about staying positive when things get tough. Interestingly, this originates from a Latin phrase in one of Cicero's letters, while I breathe, I hope. So in simpler terms, as long as we're alive, there's always a chance for things to get better. The next Italian saying is
L'abito non fa il monaco.
Literally, the dress doesn't make the monk. Now, while it's easy to rely on first impressions, Italians have this saying, which means that you can't judge someone solely by their appearance. In English, you might say, the garment does not make the monk, or appearances can be deceiving. The next Italian saying is
Il mattino ha l'oro in bocca.
This literally means the morning's got gold in its mouth. Now, Italian has a beautiful way of encouraging us to get up early and make the most of the day. This saying paints a picture of a mouth full of gold, highlighting the importance of winning the day by waking up early. Another Italian saying with a similar sentiment is Chi dorme non piglia pesci. Literally, those who snooze miss out on the fish. In English, we say the early bird catches the worm. The next Italian saying is
A mali estremi, estremi rimedi.
This literally means to extreme evils, extreme remedies. Now this is kind of like saying the English desperate times call for desperate measures. It's basically a nudge to do whatever it takes, even if it feels a bit bold or unconventional, in order to figure things out. The next Italian saying is
Se non hai mai pianto, I tuoi occhi non possono essere belli.
This literally translates to If you have never cried, your eyes can't be beautiful. Now this is a quote from Sophia Loren, and it delves into the heart of true beauty, the kind that embraces life's deep experiences, even the tough times. Now this advice comes from someone who has dealt with money problems in her early years, and then made history as being the first actress to win an Oscar for a foreign language film. The next Italian saying is
Il lupo perde il pelo, ma non il vizio.
This literally translates to the wolf loses its fur but not its vice. This means that changing our nature and getting rid of bad habits can be really tough. This saying translates to a leopard can't change its spots in English. Another way to express a similar idea is with Chi nasce tondo non può morire quadrato, which means he who is born round cannot die square. The next Italian saying is
Abbiamo fatto 30. Facciamo 31.
Now this literally means we did 30. Let's do 31. This Italian saying traces back to 1517, when Pope Leo X originally uttered these words after unintentionally leaving out someone from his new list of cardinals. Nowadays it serves as motivation to aim for greater heights, similar to saying, we've reached this point, now let's take one step forward. A fitting translation would be, we've come so far. The next Italian saying is
Chi la fa, l'aspetti.
This literally means who does it expects it. This acts as a reminder that what you put out into the world is going to come back, which is like saying what goes around comes around in English. Are you enjoying learning these Italian sayings? Don't let the learning stop here. Make sure you download your free PDF cheat sheet for this lesson, and you can find a link to that in the description below this video. Now let's take a look at some Italian sayings about success, starting with
Chi fa sbaglia.
This literally means he who does makes mistakes. This proverb implies that those who take the initiative, even if they make mistakes along the way, are more likely to be successful than those that are held back by their fear of making mistakes. The next Italian saying is
La pazienza è la virtù dei forti.
Literally, patience is the virtue of the strong. This saying reminds us that patience is a virtue of the strong. So let's embrace waiting a little bit longer, because when the universe gives us the green light, we'll be prepared to grab those well-deserved rewards. The next Italian saying is
Chi fa da sé fa per tre.
Literally, who does for oneself does for three. This suggests that tackling tasks on your own can be just as effective as the combined efforts of three people. This translates to the English saying, if you want something done, do it yourself. So channel your inner boss, toss your hair back, and take charge.
L'unione fa la forza.
This literally means unity makes strength. Now this saying somewhat contradicts the previous one, which is focused on doing everything yourself. This one highlights the strength of working together as a team. It's kind of like saying, united we stand, divided we fall in English. In other words, we're a total powerhouse when we stick together. The next Italian saying is
Il tempo è denaro.
Literally, time is money. Now you've probably heard this one in English. It means that time is a valuable resource, and therefore it's better to do things as quickly as possible. The next Italian saying is
Patti chiari, amicizia lunga.
This literally translates to clear agreements, long friendship. Now this is something that Italians casually use to convey the idea that having clear guidelines is the key to building lasting connections and relationships. Being upfront and having open lines of communication, especially in business affairs, helps avoid misunderstandings in the future. Now let's take a look at some Italian sayings about family, starting with
Tale padre, tale figlio.
This literally means like father, like son. This says that children often adopt their parents' quirks and habits. This phrase is commonly used when pointing out traits that may or may not be positive. Another similar Italian expression is La mela non cade mai lontana dall'albero. The apple never falls far from the tree. In other words, you can't escape your roots. The next Italian saying is
I panni sporchi si lavano in casa.
Dirty laundry is washed at home. This saying is similar to the English, don't air your dirty laundry in public. In simple terms, it means that family problems should be kept private and dealt with at home, rather than making them public knowledge. The next Italian saying is
La famiglia è la patria del cuore.
Family is the heart's homeland. Giuseppe Mazzini, the brilliant politician who played a key role in Italy's unification, came up with this famous Italian saying, which beautifully captures the idea that our hearts truly find a home in the family. Even though family life has its ups and downs, it always remains loyal. The next Italian saying is
Chi si volta e chi si gira, sempre a casa va a finire.
Literally, no matter where you go or turn, you will always end up at home. This age-old Italian saying means that no matter how hard we try to escape our origins, destiny has a knack for bringing us right back to where we began. The next Italian saying is
L'affetto verso i genitori è fondamento di ogni virtù.
This literally means affection towards parents is the foundation of every virtue. This Italian saying reminds us that expressing love and gratitude towards our parents is not just a box to be checked. It's a virtue that stands out above all others. In simpler terms, it's a crucial aspect of being a good person. Now let's take a look at some Italian sayings about friendship, starting with
Gli amici sono la famiglia che ci scegliamo.
Now this literally means friends are the family we choose. While family is something we're born into and we can't choose, Friends are those special people that we get to pick to be a significant part of our lives. The next Italian saying about friends is
Dagli amici mi guardi Dio, che dai parenti mi guardo io.
Lord, protect me from my friends, that I can take care of my relatives. Now this is a famous line from Totò, an iconic Italian comedian from the 1950s. In simpler terms, what he's saying here is that while we may anticipate some betrayal from our family members, what truly surprises us is when our friends disappoint us. So we need to rely on some divine protection to shield us from those unforeseen betrayals. The next Italian saying is
L'amico vero si vede nel momento del bisogno.
Literally, a true friend is seen in the moment of need, meaning that there's no better way to tell if someone's a real friend than when you're in need of them. In English, you might say, a friend in need is a friend indeed. The next Italian saying is
Prima di scegliere l'amico, bisogna averci mangiato il sale 7 anni.
Literally, before choosing a friend, you must have eaten salt with them for 7 years. This is quite an unusual one. In this Italian saying, the act of eating salt together serves as a metaphor for getting through tough times. Simply put, it suggests that real friendship develops over time as you go through challenges and shared experiences. The next Italian saying is
Sai cos'è l'amico? Un uomo che ti conosce a fondo e nonostante ciò ti vuole bene.
Literally, do you know what a friend is? It's someone who knows you deeply and still loves you. This beautiful Italian quote about friendship is from the movie Scent of a Woman by the talented Vittorio Gassman. According to Gassman's wisdom, a genuine friend is someone who fully embraces and loves you just as you are. There is no judgment and no attempt to turn you into someone else. Hungry for more? Here are some Italian sayings about food, starting with
Raccontare la rava e della fava.
This literally means to talk about the turnip and the broad bean. This Italian saying is commonly used to describe going into every detail. It's like when you're breaking down a topic and delving into the nitty-gritty details to the point where your listener feels bombarded with information. The next Italian saying is
Andare, filare, liscio come l'olio.
literally to go smooth like oil. Now this is what Italians say when everything goes really smoothly, without any complications. Both verbs, andare and filare, can be used interchangeably here, but filare perfectly captures the idea of things going well without a hitch. In English, you might say to go smoothly. The next Italian saying is
La vita è una combinazione di pasta e magia.
This literally means life is a combination of pasta and magic. This quote is from the maestro of cinema, Federico Fellini, and it really hits the nail on the head on how life is an amazing mix of simple pleasures, like enjoying a plate of pasta, and how awesome and unexpected surprises are around every corner, kind of like a touch of magic. The next saying is
Essere alla frutta.
literally to be at the fruit. Drawing on the tradition of finishing a meal with fruit, this Italian saying is a common way to express that you're feeling tired or you're worn out or completely drained of energy, kind of like that feeling you get after eating a really big meal. This is like saying to be at the end of one's rope in English. The next saying is
Far venire il latte alle ginocchia.
This literally means to make milk come to the knees. This saying comes from the traditional way of milking a cow, where milk is gathered in a bucket positioned between the legs. People had to endure this process until the milk reached knee height. Nowadays, the expression is used to describe something or someone extremely boring. In English, we might say bored to tears, or as dull as watching paint dry. The next Italian saying is
Tutto quel che vedete lo devo agli spaghetti.
literally, everything you see I owe to spaghetti. We owe these wise words to the legendary Sophia Loren. Now this serves as a wonderful reminder that true beauty comes from eating delicious food and relishing life. For more Italian food related sayings, watch this video here. Loving these Italian sayings? Here are some more about love and relationships, starting with
Il primo amore non si scorda mai.
This literally means the first love is never forgotten. Simple as that. The next Italian saying is
L'amore si misura in piatti cucinati.
literally, love is measured in cooked dishes. Isn't this just so Italian? So the next time you find yourself in the kitchen whipping up a tasty masterpiece for your special someone, remember, you're not just cooking, you're showing them the depth of your love. The next Italian saying is
L'amore non è bello se non è litigarello.
literally, love is not beautiful if it is not a little quarrel. Now this catchy tune was beautifully sung by the legendary Jimmy Fontana back in the 1970s. It suggests that a little disagreement can actually spice things up and strengthen love in a relationship. The next Italian saying is
Occhio non vede, cuore non duole.
This is another well-known Italian saying that basically suggests that ignorance about certain things, such as betrayal or uncomfortable truths, can sometimes save us from heartache. The next Italian saying is
Chiodo scaccia chiodo.
literally, a nail drives out another nail. And this sums up the common belief that the most effective way to mend a broken heart and move forward is by replacing the old with something new. It's like removing a bent nail by using a fresh one. In simpler terms, it's like saying there are plenty of fish in the sea. The next Italian saying is
Sfortunato al gioco, fortunato in amore.
literally, unlucky in the game, lucky in love. Italians often use this saying in a light-hearted way to comfort someone when their gaming luck isn't on point. It's a playful remark that if things aren't going well while playing a game, there's a good chance that something fantastic is unfolding in their love life. The next Italian saying is
Chi si somiglia si piglia.
This literally translates to whoever is similar gets along. You've probably heard the saying, birds of a feather flock together, right? Well, this is how the Italians say it, and it means that we often form connections with people who are just like us. The next Italian saying is
Gli opposti si attraggono.
literally, opposites attract. This saying takes on a completely different stance to the previous saying, suggesting that we're attracted to people who are completely different to us. Now let's take a look at some Latin sayings about life that are used in Italian, starting with
De gustibus non est disputandum.
literally, there is no arguing about tastes. Now this saying is attributed to Julius Caesar of all people, who supposedly said it to express his displeasure with an inedible dish of asparagus drowned in butter. This saying is commonly used in everyday conversation to highlight the importance of individual preferences, no matter how unconventional or peculiar they may appear. The next Latin saying used in Italian is
Per aspera ad astra.
literally, through hardships to the stars. This Latin saying is about how aiming for success often involves facing difficult situations. Try to keep things in perspective and see them as stepping stones towards your goals. The next Latin saying used in Italian is
Do ut des.
This means I give so that you give. Now this Latin saying captures how most people operate. It's all about the idea of doing something for someone with the expectation of receiving something in return. In simpler terms, it's like saying, I'll scratch your back if you scratch mine. The next Latin saying used in Italian is
Lupus in fabula.
literally, the wolf in the story. It means speak of the devil, and it comes from the days when the wolf in the story rears its head in fairy tales and would hush everyone up. Italians also say parli del diavolo e spuntano le corna. The next Latin saying used in Italian is
Carpe diem.
literally, seize the day. Oh, those wise Romans, they really had it all figured out, didn't they? It teaches us to enjoy the present, to make each moment count, and to not worry about the future. The next Latin saying used in Italian is
Ad maiora.
literally, towards greater things. This Latin saying is commonly used to wish someone a lot of success. Italians typically say it during a toast, or they put it on a card for significant occasions, such as graduations, promotions, or landing a new job. Don't let your learning stop here. To help you practice these Italian sayings, make sure you download your free PDF cheat sheet for this lesson, and you'll find a link to that in the description below this video. Want to expand your Italian vocabulary even more? Watch this lesson here on things that only Italians say that you won't find in any textbook. And watch this video here on Italian proverbs for more thought-provoking nuggets of Italian wisdom. And if you want the cheat code to fluency in Italian, make sure you watch this video here. It's a real game changer. And make sure you hit the subscribe button and turn on those notifications so you get an alert when I post more videos like this one. Ciao, a presto!